Hello, and welcome back to Slow English, the channel where you learn English through simple, real stories. Today's story is called The Green Thumb. This is an A2 level story. The words are simple, the sentences are short, and I will speak slowly and clearly. The story is about a young woman called Iris. She has just moved into a flat with a small balcony. She has never grown a plant in her life, but today she is going to try. Are you ready? Let's begin. It was a Sunday morning in April. Iris stood on her balcony and looked at it. It was small, just big enough for 2 chairs and a little table. The floor was grey concrete. The railings were white metal. There was nothing on it at all. No plants, no flowers, no colour. It looked a bit sad. Iris had moved into the flat 6 weeks ago. She had been meaning to do something with the balcony since the first week, but work had been busy and the weeks had passed. This Sunday, she had no plans. The weather was warm. The sky was blue. She made a decision. Today was the day. She had absolutely no idea where to start. She had never grown a plant before. She had owned a cactus once in her university bedroom. It had died. She wasn't sure how. Cactuses were supposed to be impossible to kill, but she had managed it. She searched on her phone, "Easy plants for a small balcony beginner." She read for 15 minutes, made a small list, and then put on her coat and shoes. There was a garden centre 15 minutes away. She had driven past it many times, but never gone in. Today, she would. The garden centre was bigger than Iris expected. There was a large outdoor area with rows and rows of plants, tall ones, small ones, flowering ones, green ones. There were trees in pots, herbs in little terracotta troughs, bags of compost stacked high, and a long table of bright spring flowers. The smell was wonderful, fresh and green and earthy. Iris walked slowly along the first row, looking at everything. She did not know the names of most of the plants. She recognized roses and lavender. Everything else was a mystery. She picked up a small pot of something yellow and turned it over to read the label. The label said Biden's ferulifolia. That was no help at all. She put it back. A man in a green apron was watering a nearby display. He was about 50, with a friendly, weathered face and soil on his hands. Iris. "Excuse me, sorry to bother you. I'm looking for plants for a small balcony. I'm a complete beginner. I've never grown anything before." The man smiled warmly. "Staff member. Perfect. You've come to the right place. I'm Pete. What's the balcony like? Does it get a lot of sun?" Iris. "It faces south, I think. It gets sun most of the day." Pete. "Brilliant. South-facing is the best. You've got loads of options." Pete walked with Iris along the rows, pointing things out. Pete. "For a sunny balcony, beginner-friendly, I'd suggest starting with herbs. Basil, rosemary, mint. They're useful, they're easy, and they smell great. Put them near the kitchen door if you can." Iris. "I cook quite a lot, actually. That would be perfect." Pete. "Good. And for colour, geraniums are ideal for beginners. Very forgiving. They like sun, they don't need much water, and they flower all summer." He held up a pot of deep red geraniums. Iris. "Oh, those are lovely." Pete. "And if you want something a bit dramatic, try a lavender. Bees love them, and they smell incredible." Iris. "I already love lavender." Pete. "Then it's decided." He smiled. "Now, compost. You'll need a bag, and I'd recommend some slow-release fertilizer pellets. Just mix them into the compost when you pot everything up. Feed the plants for the whole season." Iris was writing notes on her phone. Iris: how often do I need to water everything? Pete: in warm weather, every day or every other day. Put your finger an inch into the soil. If it feels dry, water it. If it feels damp, leave it. Simple as that. Iris: that I can manage. Pete: and one more thing. Make sure your pots have drainage holes at the bottom. Roots don't like sitting in water. Iris: okay, drainage holes. Got it. Iris spent the next 30 minutes choosing her plants. She picked up 3 herb pots: basil, rosemary, and mint. She chose 2 geraniums in deep red and 1 in bright pink. She found the lavender Pete had recommended and added it to her growing collection. She also needed pots. Pete had pointed her to a display of terracotta pots, round, simple, different sizes. She chose 4 medium ones and 1 large one for the lavender. Then compost, a large bag, heavier than she expected. Then the slow-release fertilizer. She stood back and looked at her trolley. It was very full. She found Pete again near the checkout. Iris: I think I may have got a bit carried away. Pete looked at the trolley and laughed. Pete: first-timer, classic. But honestly, everything you've got there will thrive on a south-facing balcony. You've made good choices. Iris: thank you so much for your help. I really had no idea what I was doing. Pete: you do now. Come back in a few weeks and tell me how they're getting on. Iris: I will. I promise. She paid at the checkout £43, which felt both a lot and somehow completely worth it, and loaded everything into her car. Iris spent the whole afternoon on the balcony. She covered the floor with an old sheet. She filled the terracotta pots with compost, mixing in the fertilizer pellets as Pete had shown her. She carefully potted up each plant, the herbs first, then the geraniums, then the lavender, in its large pot. She watered everything gently, not too much, just enough to settle the compost. Then she arranged the pots. The lavender went in the corner where it would get the most sun. The geraniums went along the railing, red, pink, red. The herbs went on the small table, close together, easy to reach. She stepped back as far as the small balcony allowed and looked. It was completely different. There was green, there was color, there was life. She went inside, made a cup of tea, and came back out. She sat in one of the chairs with her mug and looked at the plants. A bee appeared almost immediately, as if it had been waiting, and landed on the lavender. Iris watched it. She had never particularly noticed bees before. But this one, this small, busy, perfect creature going about its work on the plant she had just bought, felt like a little gift. She sat very still and watched it for a long time. That evening, Iris sent her mum a photo. The photo showed the balcony, the terracotta pots, the red and pink geraniums, the lavender, the herbs on the table. Her mum replied immediately, "Iris, it's beautiful. I didn't know you gardened." Iris smiled and typed back, "I don't. I mean, I didn't. Maybe I do now." Her mum sent 3 heart emojis and a sunflower. Iris put her phone down and looked at the balcony through the glass door. The evening light was golden and warm. The geraniums glowed in it. She thought about Pete and his green apron and his soil-covered hands. She thought about the bee. She thought about the cactus she had somehow managed to kill in her university bedroom and how far she had come since then. She went back out and touched the soil in the basil pot. Damp. Good. She nodded, satisfied. Tomorrow she would water them again. And that is the end of today's story. The Green Thumb. I hope you enjoyed it. Garden vocabulary. is very useful. Words like compost, drainage, fertilizer, terracotta, and south-facing are all real words used by gardeners in English. And remember, everyone starts somewhere. Even the best gardeners once killed a cactus. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe and click the notification bell. A new story every week. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you next time.